high ground nonsense. It looks like they're going for a hold on the plateau.
Slightly hybrid comp. This comp is actually decent because with Junkrat spam, you can completely cut off one side, and if since the other team are executing a dive, they'll be like, "Oh, Junkrat's on the left, we can dive the main platform alone." But the D.Va and the Ana just set up a lot of pressure on that path. The main thing to watch out right now is Soldier's positioning, Soldier and Zenyatta, because they're the easy targets to kill at this point.
Alright, and at the moment, I think it looks like the attackers are looking for a way in. Trying to work out...
Making a decision. Jesus coming up on that Pharah, discorded. They're spamming the shield, but can they actually make something happen out of this? D.Va flies in alone. Winston misses the jump. D.Va's speeding. Oh, the D.Va gets D-Mixed.
Before the dive even came in, the attackers lost their Pharah. Jesus went down, and so it wasn't a great execution there. And the defenders have been very good at just holding their ground and punishing it.
There's not much that the attacking team can do right now.
Oh!
Their Soldier lands an insane pick onto the Zenyatta.
But Peggy trades back with the biotic grenade there as well, so...
See, in this situation, that's a really worth trade, because the defending team doesn't have a mercy. They can't bring that Zen back, and Zen's really slow. He has to walk all the way back, so the red team can literally regroup and go straight in. The other team doesn't have a Zenyatta. So I don't know why the red team is actually hesitating at this point. They need to just take the advantage before the Zenyatta gets back. As you can see, the Zenyatta is almost back already. Now they're going in.
Kema, there's still no sound on the screen. Oh, there we go.
A huge visor coming out of Bloodlock. But is it enough? Oh, Trans comes out of red team. And I think the red team will have it at that. Oh,
yeah, there's not a lot of them there. They're backing off, but they do have spawn advantage, so they may be able to reinforce in and take it before the defenders can get a hold.
Who's the first one back from the defending team? Ana's almost back, but this is a really winnable fight for a red team. They just need to rush the point right now.
And here they come.
Here they go. D.Va flies in.
Going in.
Zen gets popped. Who's their next target focus? D.Va's having a 1v1 with the Soldier, but he gets D-Mexed by the Junkrat.
Bloodlock is dodging around the point there, and it looks like just a lack of focus fire on the part of the attackers there.
Good. The zoning D.Va bomb. Oh. Jesus taken down by a nice rocket.
Yeah, it looks like...
the blue team managed to retake the point.
So Brooderhood are locking down this point and making sure that Lynx Legend are not able to get in on that push.
Lynx Legends are really lacking the execution and focus target. I don't know what's happening, but I think that's a comms problem. They have so much advantage, but they're not pushing the advantage near fast enough. And when they go on the points, their tanks are not coordinating together. Winston's missing his jump. D.Va flies in too deep and can't be helped.
Oh, here comes
D.Va flies again. Winston jumps in, makes the jump this time. D.Va throws a bomb on the point, but quite nothing. Jesus rocket barrage is
but Bloodlock is popped tac visor and it's just cleaning up the back end of this fight.
Oh, and we were paused. Yeah, so let's talk about what's happened there. What happened there was they tried to rush point for no apparent reason. The two tanks of the other team, of the red team, on Lynx Legends jump onto the point, but there's no target there. So they get on the point and they're just not being in the fight. What do they have left? They literally ditched all their backline behind. So Soldier's visor gets to clean up their whole team. They have no protection. That's like a hard feed. I don't know how else to describe this, but when your two tanks jump onto the point alone, they're not doing anything right now. They're not fighting. They're not doing anything. They left their whole team unprotected, and that's what the point of the tanks are. They need to protect their team. They draw the attention. So the rest of Brooderhood just clean up Lynx Legends, and from there, Brooderhood come back and clean up the two tanks of Lynx Legend. There's not much they can do there.
Yeah, I mean, Apo's Winston is already down, and by the looks of it, it looks like Bucksdog on the D.Va is currently being demeched as well, so it won't be a long cleanup.
Exactly.
And that's going to put Lynx Legend in a very, very dangerous spot, because obviously there's only 47 seconds left on the clock. That's a time for one desperate push. They do have Tac Visor up, they do have Primal Rage, but not a lot else, and with one of the players DCing any support ult that they would have had there, is gone as well, which
and
is
that tech visor will be completely negated by Mark's Transcendence.
Absolutely.
Because even though he has a fast spawn, both he and Just Broken on the Orisa, they are both slow characters that take a long time to get back to the point. Red Team, or Lynx Legends, aren't pushing their leads fast enough, so they always give Blue Team time to get back, in which case this time Brooderhood will just get back in time and completely counter the Soldier Visor. Not to mention that Mark does get a speed boost when he ultimates, so as soon as he hears that tech visor pop, bang, he presses that Q button, he's already there.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good position to be in if you're Legends right now.
This would be also an APO to try and knock the Ulting Zenyatta away to get space for Photo's visor. However, Peggy does have the Nano Boost, and that is a strong damage addition. If he just Nano Boosts Bloodlock, who has been performing really well this game, as seen by him constantly getting visor really fast and putting out that damage, if he just puts it on Bloodlock, Bloodlock doesn't need ultimate to clean up or to kill anyone on the red team. Or he could even just give it to the D.Va, and D.Va will shred through the Winston, even if he ults.
Yeah, so absolutely.
This is a really bad position that Lynx Legends are in now.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. It'll be interesting to see where Peggy does put that tech visor. When I spoke to the Nano Boost. When I spoke to the coach of Brooderhood earlier today, they did say Peggy was a very dependable support player. So it's going to be interesting where she puts this one.
That's good.
They also did mention that Bloodlock is probably their star DPS and is a very, very good hit scan player. And we've certainly seen that already so far.
Yep. So, what I'd like to see from in the future games, just judging from what I've seen so far, but in the future games, there really needs to be more communication between the tanks of Lynx Legends, because their tanks are trying to dive for the sake of diving. We can see that clearly. They say they're like, we need to rush point, we need to dive on, right? But they're not diving any target specifically. They're just jumping in, they're just flying in into the whole other team without a target. And then even more, they're not going in at the same time together. The D.Va flies in and she gets focused, she demechs, and that's when the Winston comes in. Like, you've already lost your D.Va's mech, now you just have a baby D.Va. What are you going to do now? The Winston goes in, the Winston is feeding the enemy team outcharge as well. So one thing to really note is that if you're going to run dive tanks, you also need to have a look at what your DPS are. So right now, Photo on that soldier this whole round has probably been countered really hard by the Orisa shield. Orisa is a hard counter to all hit scan type characters. They stay behind the shield, it's permanently up, you really just can't hit anything. So when D.Va and Winston jump in like that, they have no damage follow-up. Sure, Jesus can land rockets from above, but they're not consistent enough. Like, they say someone's won, but can Jesus land that rocket from that distance onto the target, unless he gets really close? But if he gets really close, you have Bloodlock right there, standing behind the shield, and the Discord Orb, so that's really hard to say. So there's really no damage follow-up on the dive comp for Lynx Legends at this point.
You'd almost need to reverse it, wouldn't you? So have the Pharah, have Jesus' Pharah hit the rockets first, and then have the tank dive on that low target.
That is probably the only option they really have at this point, or actually in this round. So the other option is either switch the tanks or switch the DPS, because clearly something's not working. And when something's not working for almost this whole round, you need to make a switch. So the tanks do need to play more conservatively. Or if they want to dive, at least dive in and then come back out, because both D.Va and Winston of Lynx Legends have been jumping as far as they can, or boosting straight in as far as they could. And they're not even stopping themselves. They're going straight in super deep. And there's no damage follow-up. Especially because if they dive past their Orisa shield, they're zoning off their own healing. Son of Jupiter is playing Moira, although what was he playing before? I'm pretty sure he just switched to Moira.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I haven't actually been taking too much. No, but regardless, right now he's playing Moira, right? That's a close range heal.
Yeah, absolutely. Moira does not play well into that tank line.
So there's no way she can actually get in range to heal those tanks unless she commits in. But she can't scale high grounds easily, and if she commits in, she's an easy target as well. So Lynx Legends really need to fix the team comp right now, as well as how they're doing. So there's a reset coming out of D.Va, and Brotherhood is sitting up again. Lynx Legends are regrouping. They do have those 2 ults. Maybe they could pull out something amazing.
Yeah, okay.
So when
yeah,
they lose,
we're looking at Lucio Morris. It's a very
Lucio are speed boosting in. See, they're rushing in right now. They're taking use of the advantage. Lucio gets trapped. Winston dies. Gets focused down. There's the trance coming out of Mars.
There's that trance. And yep, sure enough, the tech visor has been.
Piggy has slipped Photo's visor completely, removing him from this fight.
It's incredible.
Now that is the low-key hero.
Oh, there's
the nano boost.
There's the nano boost. Didn't even need it.
Didn't even need it.
It's a great sleep there by Peggy.
Score 0-0. Switching sides.
Well, it's a bit of a rough start there for Lynx Legends, but
maybe they can pull off a full hold here.
yeah, that may have been the shock they needed to properly get themselves in gear.
Well, yeah, Brotherhood can do it. Why can't they? I mean, none of these teams have all been together for the same amount of time. Teams were picked randomly, and there were rank restrictions on each team, so no team should have come into this tournament far superior to another.
That's all been, I suppose, what they can put together in the last 8 days. It's been 8 days since the teams were put together. I know all the teams have had practices since then. They've been scrimming each other a bit. It all just comes down to who wants it more, who's willing, who's able to quickly gel as a team, and the efforts of the coaches.
And I think a huge part of that is the coaches and how well they're motivating the team, as well as how motivated team members were to play with each other to improve. Because you're not going to improve if you don't want to. So I have been coaching the other team. I've been coaching Big Doge. They are currently playing their own game as well. And fair enough, all our players have been really willing to learn and improve and play together. And I think they're doing pretty good from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm expecting big things out of those boys. But let's have a look at the comps coming into this one. So we've got a similar defensive position coming out.
We have... Interesting that they actually have a Mercy. I think that's actually a really good character on this map because they can damage boost Jesus for the defense. Because they can damage boost Jesus or damage boost Photo, and that's a huge collateral damage because this is a choke map. That Junkrat is just really strong. But on the blue side, they do have a dive comp. Genji goes in, he goes to dash, he doesn't die for it. Winston jumps in alone. Giga follows up in time, and that's
actually a decent execution. All of them turned to look at the Genji. I'd say it was a good jump by Winston because none of them were there to shoot it as it came in. Getting a bit brawly, but kills.
Red team members are just dropping. Jesus has tire already. That's a huge tire. But he's alone now. He gets another fat bomb. Can he win this? No, he can't. And
wow, that's amazing. And Just Broken survives on the point alone.
What a
does his little victory dance.
I really don't know what to say about that one. But for that one, see, when the Genji dived in like that, if they didn't kill him immediately, they needed to turn around. I think Just Broken should have died there. And here comes the play again from Jesus. This was a 2-man tire and then that right click. What a play, but it wasn't enough. Because he was literally...
So close though, he almost single-handedly turns the point back.
He landed one more rocket on Just Broken, he could have held that. They could have held that. Oh, look at that card on Bloodlock. That's how you know the man's been doing work.
It's incredible.
But Jesus also, 38 direct rockets, you times that by 120, the amount of damage he has just put out is insane. But it wasn't enough for Brotherhood because they are not, I mean for Lynx Legends, because
they're not... They obviously weren't capitalizing on that damage, which is a shame. But I suppose in future games, perhaps in future weeks, they can look to tighten that up, and that'll give them a very potent force.
Yeah. So for that last fight, once the Genji dashed in, if they couldn't burst them down immediately, which I don't think they actually could do, it's a Genji, and they didn't really have targets that could easily hit him. Maybe the Junkrat mine. Yeah, but who knows if he deflected or not. So the Genji aside, that Winston jumped in, there was like 2-second delay before the D.Va actually flew in the Matrix. So the Winston should have died there. If they focused down Just Broken, that fight should have broken down for the side of Brotherhood. But once again, maybe target focus was lacking.
Yeah, well, as half of them were trying to chase the Genji, who just jumped off the ground. Winston got all the way in before anyone was shooting at him. And then by the time they were able to turn and focus on it, Diva was there to bail him out.
I'm going to be right back 1 minute and you get some water.
Yeah, not a problem. So we are now going into Numbani, our second of the 3 maps. And this first point of Numbani is going to be very interesting to see because, well, we always see some very interesting things. It can play out a number of different comps that are all sort of equally viable. It's going to be interesting to see which ones we see brought out to both attack and defend this place. That's a good point. Isn't there a 5-minute break between matches? Yes, I believe there is actually. So we may be actually backing out of this map to take a quick break. And yes, sure enough, we'll be taking a quick break there to give the teams a chance to confer with their coaches and see what can be.
We're having a break.
Yes, there's due to be a 5-minute break between each map to give the teams a chance to confer with their coaches, and I believe that was momentarily forgotten, but the players have reminded us, and we'll be backing out of the money.
Well, clearly, I think Lynx Legends are looking for some chat with their coach. They need to replan and figure out what they're going to do here. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, once again, we can talk about Numbani as a map. So on the first point, like I said, it's surrounded by high ground. It's sort of like a volcano. And the defending team is just around the volcano, and the rest of the team are just and the attacking team are just on the crater. They're just the defending team just sits on the high ground, and they can watch the entire point from being up there. So that really puts an advantage out for hitscan characters like Soldier, like McCree. And especially if you look at the Brooderhood, after what Bloodlock has just shown us again, he's going to play Soldier. If he plays Soldier right there, sits on the high ground, that man's going to be a huge threat. If Lynx Legends can't shut that down, they are probably going to have a hard time taking the first point on this map.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think we can expect to see Bloodlock and Peggy sitting up on that top right side on defense, on Soldier and Anna respectively. And that's, going to require some crisp, clean coordination to deal with on part of Lynx Legends.
So for Lynx Legends to actually fight this, there's multiple options they can do. One, they can run dive comp and try to run down mid and dive onto those targets up there. But if Equinox and Just Broken follow up fast enough, can they actually execute that so they can kill Bloodlock and Peggy fast enough? Which means that would also require a character maybe like Tracer to come through the unders when they're attacking. They go through unders, go up the stairs around the back, and actually go into the corridor that leads to the top right. And she has to sit up there and wait for the team to go in, and they do a pincer. Because if you're Bloodlock and you're Peggy, and you see them sort of running main and looking at you, you can turn around if you're Bloodlock and press sprint on that Soldier and just, you're out of there.
Yeah.
Peggy as well as an anti-nade, and she can, if they jump her, she can throw the nade onto the ground, she'll heal herself, and the other team are suddenly weakened and cannot be healed. Like, what can the attacking team really do to that? Which is why it's important to get the pincer dive and to get that execution, really. Maybe if Jesus plays a Pharah again and lands a rocket, that's when they go straight in and capitalize, but otherwise it'll be pretty hard for them to actually play this right, because doing dive comp on this map requires huge amounts of coordination. Other options they could possibly run is maybe a slow comp and just, try to take the opposing high ground, or they could do a creative strat I've seen before, which is speed underneath and then go up the stairs where I said the Tracer would be if she was on dive comp, and they just run into the fucking pardon me. They run into the corridor and speed out to that right high ground, which would require Bloodlock and Peggy to reposition themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we saw out of one of the teams in the Golden Throne Cup a couple of weeks back. The Privileged Posse polished up a strat where they went under speed boost with the Lucio to get through onto that right high ground with a Bastion, and just Bastion Arista set up on that top right high ground. And when they pulled that out, the defenders had no idea it was coming, and they blitzed through. They got the Bastion set up at that back of point high ground, and it was just all over for the defense from that point, because the defenders are now having to attack into a Bastion to control the point.
That's an interesting strategy. Don't know what much more to say about that, but it also depends on what comp the defense does play.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I have said that Piggy and Bloodlock, when they're defending, they'll be running Soldier. Well, we have said that they're going to run Ana, Soldier, and they're going to set up top right? But what are the tanks picks going to be? Are they going to put an Orisa shield there and stand there with them, or are they going to run a dive comp and wait for them to dive to counter dive? You know, it's all really dependent. So if they do run a counter dive, then tanks will have to play rather passively, or maybe they can go aggressive depending on what the other DPS player in the team picks, which was Zafun, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Zafun. Mark was playing. Yeah, it was Mark. Mark was playing things. So yeah, it's Zafun. So if Zafun does decide to go something like Tracer or Genji, the tanks of Brotherhood can be really aggressive, because if they play that aggressively, Bloodlock and stuff do still have that high ground to hold. So Lynx Legends would then have to make a choice. Do we try to dive these guys that are sitting high ground right now, or do we help and kill the guys that are diving us? And then in that situation, if they go for the guys that are on the ground, then Bloodlock are just going to rain on them, along with Mark's Discords and Peggy on Diana. But if they do go up top and dive towards the soldier and stuff, they'll lose their backline.
Yeah, it's always a difficult position to be in. Absolutely.
So now we enter the map, and let's see how this goes. So go and introduce us to what these... So on the defending side, we do have Lynx Legends, actually. And on the attacking side is that of Brooderhood.
Okay, so I think we're still... Do we have a countdown timer happening at all?
Not yet, because they're still in the selection process. Maybe a couple more seconds, and then there'll be the 50 seconds. Oh,
there we go. So from this point, we'll see if those team comps change at all. It looks like they've just locked in their comps. So if any of them were paying attention, they may have an idea of what they're going to be running into.
Alright, so Lynx Legends are defending, and it looks like they have decided to go with a slow comp. They're going to run an Orisa with Soldier sitting up high ground, hopefully. Diva will come in for the assist, and Jesus on that Junkrat. This is actually a really interesting team comp, because Junkrat on this map, when it's really open and stuff, it's hard to actually hit his bombs. However, if they do actually decide to get the Orisa sitting up the high ground along with the Soldier, then that's the target you must dive. So if they decide to dive that, they do give Jesus the option to just spam into their face.
Oh, they're setting up a lot more forward than we usually see for a high ground defense here.
They'll probably back off soon. It's just an early peak.
I suppose it's safer than the usual early peak there.
Yeah.
Exchanging some fire
on the
with
attacking side, we do have... Yes,
Winston
dives in. Just Broken is shredded. And that's what we need to see more of Lynx Legends doing. Shredding through the diving tanks. Oh! Zafun comes from behind but gets tapped by Son of Jupiter. What a shot.
Mark manages to get a sneaky res, but pays the ultimate price for it. And Lynx Legends
as well.
Yeah, so
Lynx Legends are holding strong. No particular player has lots of ult coming up right now, but Bucksdog has actually done a lot of work so far on Orisa, because Orisa ult is really good. People might not feel like it, but Supercharger is a super strong ultimate. Plus 50% damage boosting your whole team. It's like nano boosting your entire team without a damage reduction. We see Zafun trying to sneak behind again, but he's taken down by one bomb from Jesus. Yeah, damage boosted bomb. Not a fun thing to play against.
Oh, Winston trying to poke in from the bottom, but Jesus is on it already, and That is not a place you want to get bottled up against.
Just Broken dives onto the point, but why? Just Broken was discorded, he was low health, and he decides to jump onto the point. That was a questionable decision.
I think he was caught in the room in close quarters with a Junkrat. It's not a great place to be.
Regardless of where he went, I think he was dead regardless. Yeah, he was dead.
Yeah.
So we see a reset coming out of the D.Va, and Lynx Legends are still holding really strong.
So it looks like they've definitely tightened up after that
they've
break after the first game, which is great to see.
They've thought about how to play there. They want to play this. See right now, now they're coming down main. Hey, that's dive coming out of Brooderhood, but it's not executed correctly as Winston is sucked down. The defense, Zen and Soldier actually dive down.
There's photo sacrifice. There's a lot of people low on the side.
Yep.
Of the Brooderhood, but and yep, the kills are starting to come through.
They trade one to get the Arista.
Goes down, but I think they've got this one.
Bloodlock uses the barrage. He gets nothing with that, but Zafun manages to pick up a kill on photo. And there's the Rez coming. There's the Valkyrie coming out as well. Yeah, that
I don't
was.
know if they needed the Valk there though. The fight was pretty much over. I think they were maybe wanting the quick res and forgetting that that's no longer available.
Maybe. Bloodlock just staggered himself really hard. See, right now, if I was Lynx Legends, I'd be pretty happy because this is a really good position for them to be in right now. They have 3 ultimates. There's 1 minute left. Despite there being almost 5 ults coming out of the side of Brooderhood, can they actually use those effectively into this team comp? So despite this not being the last fight, this will be the deciding fight because ults are going to be used. And after this, there's a blade. He's instantly shut down.
Shut down immediately.
Bloodlock is shut down by Jeez as well. Although Apo is the mech, Winston decides to jump in. Now Winston pops the Primal Rage. He's going for, gets him.
Yes, the self-destruct committed, I suppose, to try and remake. Dead. Stepped in a trap. It's dead before the remake comes through. Yeah, that one is all over. Bar the thunder.
So they used 4 ults in that fight, and the only one being the Lucio that wasn't used, and Bloodlock didn't actually have a soldier before. On the side of Lynx Legends, they have the Soldier Visor coming up real soon, and they have the D.Va Bomb. So Lynx Legends are actually looking to take this, because Brooderhood now have to rush the point, as seen. Lucio speeds D.Va onto the point. The D.Va's already lost all her mech. D.Va gets D-mech.
Sandbarrier comes in right after that.
But
they're not focusing the targets. There's the attack visor committed by Photo, and that's gonna, clean up this fight pretty handily. And it's all over bar the stinging. That is a successful hold there, 56.9%.
Not much to say about that last fight, really. It was pretty clear that was in favor of Lynx Legends. Brooderhood had to rush point without ultimates as well. However, they did manage to get 56.8%, like you said. So it's now, instead of a drawable game, it is now a fully win or lose game, win or lose situation for the other team, for both teams. So Brooderhood don't have to be too depressed right now. They can definitely still win this by full holding, like they just did on the previous map.
Absolutely, and we'll see if Lynx Legends are going to continue to play a slow comp, or if they're going to see what they can pull out with dive.
So with Lynx Legends currently, they shouldn't be too relaxed as well, because Brotherhood have shown themselves to be a really strong team in the previous game with their full holds, so there's still a possibility of them not being able to cap the point until 56.8% and win. So
it looks like they are going for a slow comp here, though. So they're bringing out a Reinhardt D.Va with the Lucio Moira. So it looks like they're probably going to look to push in from those tight corners, take control of those really tight positions with just the meaty tanks and short range damage, take control of that high ground, and win the fight from there.
However, can they execute that fast enough? Because Zafun is playing the Junkrat, and for them to walk forward then, the Reinhardt needs to hold his shield up, or else Zafun's rockets are going to kill all of them before they can actually do... Zafun's bombs are going to kill them before they can do anything. So, on the other hand, the defending team now can just Just Broken has his Orisa shield, so that is something that doesn't need to be constantly held up. It's just always going to be there, and the only people that are going to shred through that shield is Photo and Jesus. But from that position, it's not easy for them to actually break that shield fast enough, so it'll be interesting how they go. So it looks like they're deciding to push high ground.
Oh, now they're coming around the far side. And,
Once already, the Foon's raining damage on the... Oh! Oh, that bomb almost took Photo off the map. And they're going forward, they're speeding up the stairs, but Rainstar is trapped and Photo's lagging behind. Oh, that's a nice boop onto Photo and he's off the map.
there and he goes. And the kill onto, yeah, those kills coming through as well means it's going to need time,
that is
time to reset. Yeah, they're stuck in that back corner there.
They need to reset ASAP, maybe jump off the map, or probably the best decision actually right now, because if I was blue team, I'd fully push this right now.
Yeah, they're just caught in there, and they're basically just feeding Junkrat ult at this point. Except he's already got it up, so...
And that just shows how much damage he just did there when they were trying to rush up. Simply because they couldn't actually hold the Ryan shield up that whole time, and then he just shoot bombs into a little passway, and then what more do you expect to happen? Oh, nice pick onto Mark by Bucksdog, but Bucksdog does lose his mech.
Yeah, it's a very, very late stagger on the Diva, but I think they're going to come in on that nonetheless.
However, nonetheless it's winnable, because now Peggy is on the low ground, and Soldier is also on...
Yeah, Zafoon, there comes
Jesus
the tire, and Jesus jumps him, takes him out before the tire can go live. That is incredible. This may well just be it. But Bloodlock is about to have... Bloodlock's about to have his tack visor. Will he be able to spin it back with that? Mark is keeping everyone up.
The good zoning ult out of Diva, and then here's
the tack visor committed. And he's hitting the target. Oh, but he's not finding them fast enough. And Photo gets the better end of that
clearly
one.
in the favor of Lynx Legends, and I think they're about to take this map. Zafoon is trying to stall desperately, but he's not enough to stall again.
And yeah, that's a nasty shatter to just keep them from jumping on the point there, Zana. And yep, sure enough, that's it. Wow.
That was a really big take by Bucksdog, actually. So with Bucksdog diving in and killing the Zenyatta that way, he also forced Diana and Soldier to drop down off high ground to actually kill him. So as a result, the defending team did lose their entire advantage for the defense.
Yeah, they lost their positioning, and then the Riptide that could have saved it just gets jumped on.
That was a huge play coming out of Jesus. That flight. Man, is that Michael Jordan? You know, flying through the air, dropping balls on people. Oh, sounds like him about it.
It's good to see Lynx Legends come back so strongly already. It's a 5-minute pep talk, and it's like they're a completely different team in that map.
And we're going to Game 3, the deciding game for this matchup for this first week, the opening week of the CAM tournament.
So we'll be heading to Ilios next, and from what I heard from the Lynx Legend coaches, Ilios was the map that they'd focused on the most. So it's going to be interesting to see if that pays off for them. Obviously, control maps, as you've said earlier, require a lot more just general team coordination, a lot less sort of map knowledge. But both these teams have boasted a good Widowmaker on Ruin, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Well, I don't doubt that Lynx Legends... Well, Lynx Legends have focused on this map really well, as you just said. They focus on most. However, Bloodlock, apart from Soldier, Bloodlock does actually play a really nice Widow. I have seen him in scrims. And no doubt they'll be whipping that out on Ruins, because that is perhaps the best Widow map in the game, arguably. Maybe maps like Horizon, Lunar Colony, or Junkertown can also be considered some of the best, but without a doubt, Ruins is one of the best maps for Widowmaker, and Bloodlock has shown to be a carry role on that Widowmaker, on that map as well.
So I know that Lynx Legend want to run Rainy Starks on the Widow and Ruins as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how that Widow 1v1 goes.
Mm-hmm. But remember, Widow 1v1s in a team environment don't aren't necessarily the deciding factor. So it's similar to Farah Jules. If either Widow is too focused on trying to kill the other Widow, while the other Widow plays out of line of sight and focuses on the team, then there's pretty much the Widow trying to pick the 1v1 has no effect. So it's more about which one of these Widowmakers plays smarter. When do they shoot the team, and when do they try to take the 1v1s? And more so positioning. So what position you're in decides which of those jobs you're going to be taking.
Yeah, that's fair enough, because if you take a more defensive position that gives you a decent line of sight to the point, but is hard to expose out for the other Widow, it zones off half the map and can push people either out into horrible Widow lines of sight, or they're forced to come in really close and up against the point, which can play really well into the other heroes, depending on what you're running.
Exactly. So we'll see that in Lynx Legends, because I'm pretty sure at this point they'll know that Bloodlock is going to play a Widowmaker. So how well their backline plays to actually avoid being in that line of sight is going to be a huge factor of how they take the win on Ruins. However, on Well, I do expect to see Jesus playing that Pharah. He has done flank barrages really well. At one point in a scrim, I've seen him do it and get like 3 team wipes and won them the round simply because he was just uncontested and doing flank barrages. And Widowmaker and Pharah is a strong character on that map because they can boot people, and they're mostly, if they're playing a slow comp, then Pharah spams into a little choke point and lots of collateral damage.
There's free rockets into them all the way up to the point.
I think both teams will probably play something like a slow comp, like Orisa Hog Fishing, because everyone likes to do some fishing, right? We're fucking from Australia and New Zealand and whatnot.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I mean, one of the coaches from Lynx Legends actually said that they were likely to put Jesus on Reaper on Ilias. I'm not sure which particular stage they were referring to. Maybe that's for Ruins as a partner for that short range area. I don't know. All I know is to what I've been advised to watch out for Jesus as Reaper and Ilias. I'm interested to see which particular map there. I mean, maybe it'll be Lighthouse with the narrow room.
Yeah, Lighthouse is a really good Reaper map. I used to main Reaper, I would say. But I have to say, though, Reaper as a character at low rank is super strong because he teleports up high ground, he waits for your team to go past him, and then he comes out and kills the backline, or he can go up front and shred the tanks. Regardless of which, people always ignore him as well once he gets you in face because people are scared of Reapers. When Reaper's in your face and you're trying to 1v1 him, it's not an easy job because he has these shotguns that just blow you up. It's such a difficult thing to do. So people ignore Reapers in the middle of fights, and that's why Reapers get so much work done because he's uncontested. He's not even forced to use any of his Wraith form. So it'll be interesting how well that the Brooderhood can actually respond to Jesus if he does play Reaper, because that's a huge part of whether or not they'll win that game or that map if they only play Jesus on Reaper in one map. Like, I've seen it plenty of times at this rank, especially on maps like Anubis, Second Point. Reapers just teleport onto the crow's nest and just sit there, and they do it the whole game every single time, but no one on the attacking team ever checks. They just never check it, and then he drops down and he kills all of them. And he kills the backline, and then halfway through the fight, the attacking team's like, I need heals, and then he was like, wait, what happened to my supports? Oh, there's a Reaper. Oh, wait, now the Reaper's on my face. What am I gonna do? Oh, okay, let's reset, guys. And then rinse and repeat, and you get the game done. So
yeah, I've definitely seen a few of those. Thankfully, I've seen it more often as the team that has the Reaper, but I tend to play a lot of D.Va myself, and so sniffing out a Reaper is one of my top jobs.
Yeah, that's a good job. It's important. It's an important job. So if they do have that Reaper, it'll be interesting to see how well Brooderhood can respond to that, because that is a crucial factor. If they don't respond to the Reaper, he'll kill everyone, because this is a King of the Hill map. It's all about clustered team fights on the point, or similar, because it's all about those team fights. It's a enclosed map. There's not much space for people to run around and hide and hold high grounds, whatever. So Reaper is really effective, and how well they can respond to that Reaper is important. Because I've seen Jesus play Reaper, he knows what he's doing.
Alrighty, and we should be any minute now being ready to head into this one. And hey, we're 1-1 at the moment, so this is going to be the deciding map for these teams.
However, this is just the first game of the tournament, and who knows, maybe we'll see huge improvements coming out of both teams in the future.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Obviously, as mentioned, these teams have been together just a little over a week, so I'm sure as the season goes on, we're going to see them just get stronger and stronger as they get more used to playing with each other. That said, because it's only a 6-week tournament from first match through to finals, this will be, until we hit playoffs, the only time these teams meet each other. Absolutely, yeah. So in the first, there's only 4 weeks of group stages, so we won't even have a chance for all of the teams to go up against each other before we hit finals. So it's every map really matters here, and every win matters a lot.
Exactly. So if I'm either team, even if I'm getting a win, I need to play the win dominantly. And so, how will the playoffs work? Tell me more about that.
So after the first the first round, the preliminary stages, the bottom 2 teams are eliminated, and we have
top 4.
Basically, yeah, the top 4, and we'll basically be running semis.
Yep.
I believe there's 2 weeks of those. I believe every team in the top 4 will then play against each other. As we have 2 weeks of it. And then the top 2 teams out of there will go on to meet each other in the finals.
We'll see which of these teams actually step it up. Because, like I said, they've been together for just over a week. They're completely randomly picked, and they've probably never played with each other before this. So, how well they mold together is going to be... how well they mold together is hugely decided by how much they want to win. If they're willing to put in that work, to put in that practice, if they're willing to play together, listen to their coach, then that will increase their chance of winning by a huge margin. So if you ask me, the winning team of this tournament ultimately is not going to be the team that has the most skilled players, but by the end of the tournament, yes, it'll be the team that has the most skilled players. Why? Yeah. Because they put in their work, and they've decided to play, to listen to their coach, to play as a team, and they've gained the most experience. So this is the Co-Amateur League. It's available for all players below 3,300 SR. There's going to be multiple seasons of this running, so if you're watching this right now and you didn't get picked, or you're willing to play, just wait until next season.
Absolutely. We'd already had a number of people asking if they can get involved or when the next season's starting, so it's been very exciting to see all the interest we've had so far. Okay, and we will be setting up now for Lighthouse on Ilios.
Oh, you caught it! Jesus on the Reaper on Lighthouse.
Well, as I said, I was speaking to the coach of Lynx Legends earlier today, and he said to watch out for Jesus' Reaper on Ilios, and this is obviously the point that best caters into it. So they're going to be running a bit of a solo comp there with Photo on the Soldier, Apo on the Reinhardt, Bucksdog on Diva, but they do have Lucio to boost it along. On the other side, we're running both the dive tanks with a Tracer Soldier, so it's a fairly classic Tracer Soldier dive. And yeah, Lynx Legends are just going to go straight onto that point, and they've got the muscle to sort of get away with it.
Oh, Photo is caught out and punished. Bucksdog dives in too deep, and he's demeched instantly.
Oh, it's not a great start for them.
Yeah, Brooderhood are really good.
Photo's back up though. Rennie Starks gets away with the res.
Jesus is taken down by Muck, and this is extremely in the... Oh! What a fat
Oh, it's a huge boot! 3 boots by Son of Jupiter!
Oh my god!
That's incredible!
That is huge! That just probably won them the point!
Yeah!
Jupiter makes a huge play and secures the point for the side of Lynx Legends.
That's, I think we already know who the MVP of this particular map is. That was huge.
That is huge. Look at him. He's on fire already, and he's like
83% to ult.
The only other person contesting him is Just Broken. He's playing Winston, lasering like 5 people at the same time.
Oh, that's a
good fire
nice
strike
fire
coming
strike,
out.
yeah.
It connects with 3 people, and they almost have a shatter up as well. Bucksdog once again goes in a bit too deep, and he's probably going to demech.
Yeah, they're punishing him for it.
He got
and
demech.
they're collapsing onto the point now.
Lapsing on the point, but Jesus is up there shredding them. Just Broken is forced out to use it. Primal Rage.
Does
Photo
get
blocked
photo.
off the point. But they're still ignoring the Reaper. The Reaper's just shredding through them. Jesus almost has ult. He can clean this fight up really easily because they're all grouped up. There's the Death Blossom coming out.
Oh, Jesus
But it's
goes
countered by Mark.
They've got that one there, so...
But that was a good
Brooderhood.
retake.
Yeah.
That was a good retake by the side of Brooderhood.
Yeah, they're up to 49%, so not a bad start. And
Not
they do have... that said, the Brooderhood will be playing into a bit of an ult disadvantage here by the looks of it.
My ultimate is charging.
They have 3 ults to approximately 4, and another Diva Bomb coming up real soon.
Heal up here.
Yeah, so Lynx Legends will have ult advantage as they make this push.
So they need to make use of their ult advantage and go in fast before Brooderhood get more of their ults up again. So it looks like they're going.
Yeah,
There's
they're
a bug coming out.
There's
Buckstock goes straight onto Bloodlock, who's using ultimate. Buckstock
knocked
takes
down already.
But Buckstock takes the entire tactical visor and protects his team from that.
Oh! Buckstock does get picked up by the
Shadow comes out,
there.
connects with just the Diva mech.
A lot of ults getting committed into this from both sides.
And we have lots of brawling happening in here. Nice Fire Strike coming in. But
That said, between Reaper and Reinhardt still... Oh, there goes Reinhardt.
Jesus is still alone. Jesus decides to jump on the map for a
reset
reset. They almost had the point. Look at that. It's almost full. That was like 99 point something%. Oh, man. Lynx,
That said, they still do have a lot of ults there for Lynx Legends. So they're going to have both...
Death Blossom. If they can get this onto the point and force the rest of Brooderhood to come to the point, Jesus' Death Blossom can be devastating.
And they've got the Tac Visor, which can potentially zone them in to set up that one as well. Or the Diva Bomb, both of them quite good for zones.
So here they go, they're speeding straight onto the point. Bloodlock has dropped off the high ground, but he's just outside, not staying in range. Postman connects with Buckstock. Jesus looking to use that Death Blossom.
I think they're just trying to get that Diva out of mech to make sure...
Diva is the mech now, so Jesus can actually pop that Death Blossom right now. I think he's gonna do it.
Oh,
But he's killed!
gets caught out.
He is killed before he can do that! And Brooderhood are looking extremely strong right now. There is nothing that the Lynx Ninjas could have done just there.
Yeah, it's just diving onto the point to try and stagger it, but yeah, with the Tac Visor there to clean it up, they're not going to be able to.
And the first round goes to the Brooderhood.
And that was just great to watch, because both these teams are really pulling it out here, and that really could have gone either way.
If I had to say what the deciding factor just there was, it was Buckstock versus Bloodlock. Bloodlock pretty much sat on the high ground the entire fight, the entire round, uncontested. Even when he did drop down, he was just outside and he was still uncontested. Buckstock did do really deep dives onto him, but there was not much he could do because he flew across pretty much the entire point. And at that one point, the one time he did do that, Bloodlock did pull out his tactical visor as well, and Buckstock couldn't kill him fast enough. So right now we do have the Widowmaker versus Widowmaker duel we're expecting to see. She's still on that Reaper, hoping to maybe burn down one of the tanks on the side of Brooderhood.
And we've got some opening shots coming out from both, but not much to say for it yet.
And this is looking really good for the Brooderhood. They've taken control of the point. But Lynx Legends just brute force their way onto it.
Yep, and that's... Yeah, that is...
Lost photo. Bloodlock lands a nice pick onto the Mercy, and it just all falls down.
Oh, and there goes Zan as well. Yep, Bloodlock is in control at this point, and we'll be looking to...
That was a really sloppy play by the Lynx Legends. Although Brooderhood do have the speed boost advantage, regardless, Lynx Legends needed to actually take control of the point, or at least contest them for the point, because at that in that fight, the front line of Brooderhood were really far forward, and the rest of Lynx Legends were all clustered together. So there was the Brooderhood were actually in a really good position
there from Rainy Starks, but no follow up.
Just Broken going in for the flank. Buckstock dives in onto the Zenyatta. Zenyatta is excellent. Killed. Jesus is on the Mercy. No. And
Bloodlock takes out Apo, so let's It's looking like a solid... Oh, that's a nice self-destruct, though.
And just broken also taking down, but Buckstock is listening to D-Mech once
Yeah,
again.
he's...
Oh, Bloodlock lands the headshot on the ready
yep.
start.
Infrasight is ready.
And so that'll allow them to hold on to that point. It was a bit touch and go after the Diva Bomb, but probably wasn't the best use of it.
No one can hide from my sight.
Both teams have now just popped the walls, so this is going to be interesting how they play this out, actually, because both teams know exactly what the opposing team is trying to do. Oh, nice
Photo
headshot
goes down.
onto Photo, but
Gets
Photo
res.
is res back up. Can Lynx Legends do something right now?
Apo and Buckstock.
Apple and Buckstock go in.
Fine.
The self-destruct comes out, doesn't find any kills. A Bloodlock is taken down by Rainy Stocks. Jupiter lands a nice
Equinox
transcendence
takes
against the whole team.
Buckstock.
And this is actually looking good for Lynx Legends. Can they capitalize off that transcendence? Jesus is once again taken down. Piggy does still have that sound barrier to use to save his team. And
Yeah, it's just Dapo Primal raging on the point now, and that Pulse Bomb's going to make it a very short.
that round, the round and the victory go to the Brooderhood.
Yeah, Brooderhood
That was a
have-
really dominating performance by the Brooderhood on this Ilias.
Yeah, Ruin. They controlled Ruins. Ruins was theirs. There's definitely no ums and buts about that.
Oh, here's the play of the game. I want to
Yes.
see this. Oh,
they just all clustered up there, which is
This was
like, with them running the
juicy.
with them running the comp that they were, they really shouldn't have been clustered up like that.
that was actually a really strange move, in my opinion.
Yeah,
He wasn't even speed boosted into their face. That was just on the range of his move. And there goes 4 eliminations. But there goes all the votes to Son of Jupiter.
oh, it doesn't get the 10.
That's it. So now we have to decide who is the MVP of this match. It's a tough
Yeah.
one, but it has to come out of the Brotherhood.
Yeah, I think I want to give it to Bloodlock. They've been just consistently performing on pretty much every fight. They've been in a good position to just get in huge amounts of damage and just really, really wear down the Lynx Legends in pretty much every engagement.
I think I have to give it to Bloodlock as well. His soldier performance has been outstanding. That is also on the Lynx Legends to contest them better, but damn, he was just popping off. He was on fire. Although, not to say, the rest of Brotherhood did play really well as well. I really like some of the plays coming from Equinox on that Diva. He has saved his team multiple times as well. But MVP goes to Bloodlock for this game, and I'm pretty sure no one in the chat can also argue about our decision. It's not some...
Well, this is Twitch chat we're talking about. I'm sure someone will try.
Of course, but mostly I don't think there's much to be said. Bloodlock did play that really well. And yeah.
So there we are. That is the first round, Lynx Legends versus Brotherhood. Brotherhood will be enjoying their win here, but Lynx Legends still have chances in the next couple of weeks to sort of redeem their name.
Definitely, and surely they'll want a rematch against the Brotherhood.
Oh, I'm sure that now that it's unlikely before playoffs that these teams will be going up against each other, it makes an ideal team to scrim against because you know you're not going to be facing them in the next couple of weeks, so they're not going to be learning any of your planned strats or anything off you. So yeah, hopefully they do keep. Hopefully they do go for that rematch in scrims, and yeah, we'll see how things go from there.
But then on that Numbani game, it looks like Lynx Legends actually play a slow comp much better than they do for their dive. So maybe they could try focus more on playing their slow comp and trying to make it work on not just Numbani, but maybe on Anubis or on Ilios. But if they do make it work on Ilios, they need to get well into under their belts and then make sure they focus on one more of these maps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what maps we have in the pool next week because I believe it won't just be Anubis, Numbani, and Ilios for the whole tournament. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not actually 100% sure. I don't know if it's been determined what next week's maps will be, but I'll definitely need to have a look at that in a moment.
Maybe next week's maps will benefit their slow comp more, you know? Maybe there's something be like, oh, we'll have Ekin Horizon, and then Well, actually, Horizon is more questionable, but after that full hold, I'm sure they can do it again. So yeah, maybe these will go towards their pool, and who knows what team's going to be matching up today. So let's do a quick report of how the other matches went.
So,
Uh,
my guy, welcome back. It's Kaima. It's been so long to talk and waiting for you guys. Thank you for the support. So quick talk. I'm gonna say, well, this team pretty close game with the loser Boop and thing. Thank you guys for watching. The stream is about to ending like in 10 minutes, so we're just gonna do some quick talk about happening so far. So someone coming late, so Kifa and Pyronet can just quick cap for you guys like what happening so far. So pretty appreciate that. About myself, I don't know what to say anymore. It's just so great. Congratulations on Brooderhood on this match. What do you guys think? They come out pretty strong. Like after 1 week, like that's pretty impressive.
yeah, I think Brooderhood are a team to watch out for. They have Bloodlock is proving to be a really strong DPS, and all the other teams need to consider how they can actually shut that down.
Yeah. And just for those viewers out there who are just assuming that all the best players are the diamond players on these teams, Bloodlock is in gold. I just want to put that out there. That I had a quick peek at his stats before. He's made plat this season, but he's currently sitting in mid gold, and he's putting out that kind of performance, which just goes to show that it's not about rank in this sort of organized play. It's about team coordination. And yeah, putting in the efforts to work together and improve.
Exactly. So, all the other games, Big Doge versus Krakens. Big Doge win, 3-0. Hey, I'm happy. That's my boys. Draconix versus Orclock. Draconix win, 3-0 as well. So these will be...
Sounds like we had the closest game here.
Yeah, we did.
Of course, the other games also being streamed on the affiliate channels, which you should be able to see on the Twitch page just below in the description area, with Lunchbox and Sharp broadcasting those games for us, and a big shout out to both of those for helping us out.
Yep, so it'll be interesting to see which teams match against each other, because we've had, apart from our game, both the other games have been 3-0s, which show pretty clear dominance of one team, so we'll see how those teams match up, and then maybe we can get some power rankings out as well. You know, I'm always a fan of power rankings. Every tournament I look at, I want to see which team is expected to be the best. But, yeah.
And by the way, what do you think about Big Doe? He 3-0. Oh my god, your boy did something right there.
We've been getting 3-0'd in all our scrims on players.
That's pretty much like when you get the team back, like get your core member, they just did your job. Like pretty awesome.
We didn't see that game, but I'm happy. And I'm pretty sure all our viewers enjoyed those two close games. Although some of them may not have actually seemed that close. I guess it was actually pretty interesting to say, because Anubis was pretty one-sided, then Numbani was also pretty one-sided, and then onto Ilios, the first round could go either way, and then on that second round, there was also a dominant play by
very, very dominant.
So it was either the dominate or be dominated situation. Wasn't actually too close, but there were times that those fights could have gone either way, and one team clearly just had better target focusing.
Yeah, that's pretty much the thing. Like they did get the point, they did improving, and the player I think most improving in your team so far is Ram. That guy,
yes.
Just don't really talk about it now. He become like really vocal.
Yes, Ram. I've been training him the most. He's been the most active player on my team, willing to learn and willing to put in that practice. So I really like the dude. I see good potential in him. So I guess that's a wrap for today, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna
I said,
here
I
right
guess
now,
too
guys.
much.
Thank you, boy, for watching, guys. Gotta catch you guys soon in the next Friday. Remember, 7 on stream and 7:30 the match starting. The next match on my one, we're not sure yet, cause it's gonna be another different 6. The next week gonna be a half 6 match, so it's gonna be a lot of things going on to run through that. So guys, check it out. Get into KTV Discord channel, and we will see you there. Have a good time. Before I go, I will let Pyro and G-Fan say something to the fan, cause we have some fan now.
Follow me on Twitch. Hello. If you guys want to check out how the other scrims went, how the other matches went, do check out the other channels that we had them streamed on. So that would be Sharp and Lunchbox. Maybe pick up a thing or two. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, come to the KTV Discord, and we have plenty of people here willing to answer things and give you guys lessons and how to improve and pick out some things you can learn. And that'll be all from me.
Anything
Yeah,
else,
I mean,
Pyro?
well, he's pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say. I mean, the only other thing I can really say is follow us on Twitter. Because I manage the KTV Esports Twitter account, and I don't really know what to do on it yet because I'm very new to Twitter. So if anyone knows how Twitter works, drop me a line. But no, I mostly just been posting updates about what to expect from the next week and a couple of Overwatch League updates. But yeah, just follow us on Twitter because it makes me happy every time we get new followers. And I'll see you all next week.
Awesome. Have a good night.
Until then.
guys. Take care. Anything you want to say, G-Fan? I forgot. My bad.
No, I already said what I was gonna say, man. I said that until then.
Until then. Good night, boy. You better get some beer. It's Friday night.